Sound of a gentle, reflective piano melody starts and plays softly in the background, speaking in a warm, thoughtful tone. Have you ever noticed how, when things get really tough, when the world seems to be shaking at its foundations, we have this incredible, almost instinctual urge to turn to family? It's not just about our own immediate family either. It's bigger than that. It's this profound human need to connect, to find our tribe, to know we're not alone. Think about it. We see stories from all over the world, stories that often don't make the primetime news, but they're the ones that truly define our humanity. I remember reading about the wildfires that swept through parts of Australia a few years back. The devastation was unimaginable. Homes turned to ash, entire communities displaced. But in the middle of that chaos, something beautiful happened. Families who had lost everything were taken in by complete strangers. People opened their doors, offering a spare room, a hot meal, a shoulder to cry on. They weren't just neighbors, they became family. I saw this photo online. It was two older women, one whose house had burned down, the other her neighbor, just sitting on a porch swing, holding hands, watching the smoky sunset. They had nothing left but each other. In that moment, they were a family, forged in fire and loss. They created a new kind of home right there on that porch swing. And it's not just in big dramatic disasters. Look at the economic hardships that have swept across the globe. In places like Greece during their debt crisis, or more recently in many countries facing massive inflation, the traditional family unit expanded. Grandparents moved back in with their children. Aunts, uncles, and cousins pooled their resources, sharing apartments, childcare, and whatever money they had. What could have been a story of complete societal breakdown became a story of resilience. They called it a return to the old ways. But really, it was just a return to each other. They weren't just surviving. They were reinforcing the bonds that money can't buy and a crisis can't break. They were teaching their children that wealth isn't what's in your bank account, but who is sitting around your dinner table. Then, there was the global pandemic. Remember that? The isolation was crushing. We were physically separated, but in a strange way, many of us became closer. I think about those viral videos from Italy, where entire apartment blocks, families who had probably never spoken more than a quick hello in the hallway, came out onto their balconies to sing together. They couldn't touch, they couldn't embrace, but they could share their voices. They created a chorus of hope that echoed through the empty streets. They became a balcony family, a community united by a shared fear, but also a shared determination to find light in the darkness. And what about the quiet personal hardships? The battles that happen behind closed doors. When a family member gets a frightening diagnosis, what happens? The family unit instinctively draws in. Siblings who haven't spoken in years are suddenly on the phone every day. Cousins fly across the country. Aunts and uncles set up meal trains. The old squabbles and petty arguments just evaporate. Because in the face of real adversity, you remember what's truly important. The walls come down, and the love that was always there, maybe just buried a little, rushes in to fill the cracks. These moments of unity, they're not just heartwarming anecdotes. They are a powerful testament to the human spirit. They show us that when we are stripped of our comforts, our routines, our sense of security, we don't shatter. We reform. We find strength not in what we have, but in who we have. We reach out not as individuals, but as a collective. We become bigger than ourselves. We become a global family, united not by blood, but by the shared experience of being human in a world that is, and always will be, full of challenges. And in that unity, we find our greatest hope.